parents are very strict. Where are you going with those skates? Wear your helmet. Are you doing that too? Are you jumping on those banisters?
What's up?
Hey man. So it's when did we do Hamish's one? On Saturday, Sunday?
Sunday?
Yeah. So and it was over 2 hours. It was a pretty long one. But we didn't rush it, did we?
No, I don't think we did. We just it went for quite a long time, and we had kid life stuff to sort.
Yeah, we did. And I guess we talked so much about we talked about lots of stuff, but then when we finished, like me and Liam, like we call each other after we stop recording and we have a little talk, and we realized that we'd forgot to ask any of the YouTube or Instagram questions, and we also kind of felt there was some stuff that we skipped over that we thought would be good to hear Hamish. Well, I think I'd skipped over. I thought there was some stuff that I wanted Hamish to talk about. And it's not like I'm trying to drag controversy out of him or make him say anything specific, but I just think you'll see what I mean. It was a question that I think he will definitely have a point of view on it. So yeah, we just thought we'd better get him back for a little bit. Cool. And we knew that he wouldn't say no.
Is that quite a good point to also raise as well, though, Josh, that we're not here to raise controversy. We're actually here to just tell stories and find out stories.
Yeah, that's true. And it's not just stories. Like everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and we're trying to talk to people from like it's a number of decades, isn't it, to be fair? So of course people are going to have an idea of and of course people that aren't really skating anymore, who, like Hamish is a really good example. Like he started a long time ago, he skated for a long time. He's seen a lot of things change and come and go, and he'll have an opinion on stuff like most people will. So I just think we're just asking the questions, really.
Exactly.
Because the stuff people could talk about anyway, they probably do, but we're just doing it on a
public forum.
Yeah.
And you're in a different location today too.
Well, not. It's just 9 o'clock at night, and I'm just out in our sweep out. So
yeah.
But yeah, the camera's spun around. I was also going to say, like, you're always in this really nice, bright room.
You should see my paint job though. It's so shit. I did this.
Yeah, but I'm always look like I'm living in like a darkly lit kind of hovel.
You've just got multiple sites on your property. That's all.
Yeah, I promise I'll do one from a bit more of an interesting location soon.
Oh, they've got to see your view. Your view's bloody amazing.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it would snow here. It'd be cool. It'd be a cool place to live if it snowed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let's bring him in.
Yeah, let's see what he's up to.
How many fucks is he going to say today?
I didn't count them, but it was up there, man. Potty mouth, eh?
Absolute potty mouth.
Even Kevin, was that Kevin commented on it?
Yeah.
Hey boys, can you hear me all right?
Yeah,
yes, we can.
It did make me laugh that Michael Farr was watching it with his newborn with all those swear words going on.
How are we?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
Yeah, fucking good, Hamish. We're fucking good.
Yeah, good to hear, boys.
Do we call this Hamish Part 2, or is this like Part 1.1?
Oh, God knows.
Yeah.
The never-ending story.
Yeah. Well, we just said before that it wasn't going to be a big saga this time, but we just had some things that I personally had some things that I just wanted to throw at you, and there was just also some of like the people that watch online had some questions as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, boys, absolutely.
Yeah, so I appreciate you taking the time again.
No, you're right.
So I think Liam wanted to talk to you first about something.
I guess I have gone and done a bit of research post our last podcast discussing a particular gap in Hamilton that we believed was undoable.
Yeah.
So speaking to one, Scott Anthony Bentley, he has he's confirmed your story that you did actually do the gap. He said the way you landed it was you landed feet first, bounced off your ass while your feet were on the ground and bounced back up. It was what he saw. He couldn't confirm whether it was him and Brooke, and he couldn't confirm about the homebrew, but he did say that it was the most amazing thing he's ever seen.
So there was the gap wasn't actually attempted once; it was actually attempted twice. So the first time was actually with Bentley, Brady, Ben, and it was when Scotty had his red Mazda 323.
He had one of those for like 20 years though.
Yeah, but that's how I learned. Hey, that's how I learned to drive manual.
Yeah.
And that was that weekend because I was bitching and moaning about speed. So he pulled over and said, "Do you want to drive?" And that's when I had got to drive the car from Hamilton to Rapa, or to where we drove.
But anyway, so the point of the matter is that I didn't believe you because I thought it was inhuman to do it.
Yeah.
And Scott, he had a couple of red wines at the time, but he said he has seen you do it.
I think it's the kind of thing that you would remember.
Yeah.
What I think is also quite impressive is that the Californian Condor was there and he didn't try it.
Yeah, true. That ponytail should have hucked that gap.
Yeah.
And rapped about it afterwards.
So I just said to Liam earlier, Hamish, as well, like, you didn't put your hands down, but your bum touched the ground. So you kind of have to do it. You have to do it over again.
I don't even think I could actually get down because you know how there's that double set beside it, the stairs and the kink rail. I don't even think I could get down or even slide down half the rail without hurting myself nowadays, man.
Yeah. This probably ties into one of my questions that I'll ask later. So I might save it till then if I can remember.
Yeah.
We might need to get off Flash and go down and do a trip down there and interview you about your approach to the gap and actually the gap itself, because no one's seen this shit.
I heard a couple of Hamiltonians actually tried the gap and fucking really no one ever tried it.
Not that I can recall. We used to skate past it because we used to hit all the other spots at the Polytech. Yeah. And I actually even used to go to that Polytech, I think. And we used to skate past it all the time to get to the other spots. And we'd always look at it and go, Hamish didn't do that. So
you know who might have tried it? Richie might have tried it.
Actually, possibly, yeah.
There was a rumor that someone tried it and fucking clipped the bottom of it.
I have heard that actually, yeah.
So I don't know who,
because there was a concrete ledge at the bottom of this massive garden.
Yeah.
So it was it was fine because you had a flat runoff. You didn't have to jump anything. You could just skate right off it. And when we were doing it, there wasn't too much bush at the top. There was more bush down the bottom. So yeah,
it's always good when there's more bush down the bottom and not at the top.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, moving on. So I just had two more things. I'm just reading what I wrote down. So you've been around for ages. You're back in the day. You don't really skate much anymore. Can you think of like what was your thinking back over everything? It doesn't have to be New Zealand, doesn't have to be specifically overseas, but what was your favorite? Can you think of a favorite time in your skating and why? Like when and why?
There's a couple, but OG Vicky Park days. Wooden Vicky Park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I spent a lot of time there. And the cool thing about that, it was even with all the skateboarders and all of the BMXers, it was quite a community. Everyone partied together, everyone got on well together, and everyone just had a really, really good time. And it's still one of my favorite parks. spending some time with the Steve McCarty and that back in the day with the BMX boys, and living in Christchurch. Christchurch was probably some of the later years when I was just skating were really, really, really interesting, and made some really good lifelong friends down there, as I did throughout pretty much all of skating.
What was it? I was going to say, what was that mockumentary about in Christchurch?
Oh yeah, nah. That was long. It wasn't really a mockumentary, but it's just something that wasn't a very good time in my life.
Oh, sorry to bring it up.
But yeah, no, it's I'll sit down and I'll explain it to you one day. But yeah, no, it was a few things that happened throughout the time. But yeah, it wasn't. It was a pretty harsh move by the people that did it. You know what I mean? People that you actually considered as really close friends. But yeah.
Only thing I remember from the mockumentary is actually that 5 off the roof.
Oh yeah, the 5. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, Josh.
No, that 5 was a combination of about 13 attempts and 2 bottles of Bernardino wine.
Classy. Who are you rolling with down there in Christchurch most of the time? Matty,
Timsy, and old Steve Smith. Oh, bless his soul, who's no longer with us. Ricardo. A lot of time with Timsy. A lot of time with Teepa, a lot of time with the rest of them, and also a couple of the BMXers down there. Scott, a good friend of mine, old Scott Free, and Dan Odyssey. Spent a lot of time hanging out with them as well. So it's Christchurch was quite a big part of my my early 20s. So it was quite influential on who I am and what carried on and inspired what happened over the next 10 years from that to before I broke my back. Yeah, it's nice that you said a time from New Zealand too. Like that's pretty cool. Yeah, because you talking to you from the last interview, like I thought you were going to say it was a specific time you were in the States, but that's cool. No, like the States was rad and all. Don't get me wrong. Australia was cool, and I had some amazing experiences. But New Zealand's always been home, and some of the best experiences have actually been here, and some of the most memorable moments of my life have been here. So it's one of the reasons why I still live here. Like the whole thing about me traveling and going overseas was never to actually aspire to live overseas and be overseas long period of time, because I don't actually like traveling. Don't like being away from home for long periods of time. I enjoy being in places that I want to be, you know, and being in places that I don't really know is you know, nowadays is I really can't be bothered traveling. You know? Closest I got, I only travel 1.5 k's to work. Okay, my next question. Let me just read this again because I want to get this one right, and I don't want it to sound like we're digging or anything. But so again, like you covered a long period of time from the very early 90s right through to pretty much now, because I still consider you like a skater. Yep. What does this say? What do you think about the scene now, and what it's turned into and where it's going, and everything that's contained within that question, like social media, what people were skating, what I consider like as a lack of national community. Does that make sense? You know, like there's not a lot of traveling. There's not as much traveling as there used to be, I don't think. What do you think's going on with the scene, and where is it going? I think for us for us here in New Zealand specifically, the majority of the scene is in their late 20s, early 30s, 40s. So we've all got families. So when it comes to traveling and stuff, it is quite difficult to travel and get about and actually get meeting up with everybody around the place and everything like that. People in the States, they're starting to travel quite a lot. If you look at places like Schmitty's Ramp Jam and the camp that he does, You know, they're all summer long. They've just got big competitions and have people around there all the time. So they're doing it over there. But I think it is quite hard, especially in the last couple of years with COVID and everything. But it would be really good if people actually started trying to get a bit more together and try and get a bit more skating to happen, because that's, you know, I want to skate a bit more this year and next year, so I'm going to actually try and put my effort in, and try and get as many people out and about as possible. And even if it means me traveling on weekends to come down to see like you guys and bring some people down, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's but the sport itself is starting to grow. Like in the last 5 years alone, the sport is, the trajectory of it's like this. You know, there has been a couple of hiccups, but I think the place is in good stead. Social media has got a really good place in it. You know, it's something we never had, and it's something that's quite hard to grasp if you're really old.
You are.
Yeah, well, I can use social media, but I used it for promoting businesses and all, and that all the time. But I'm no wizard at it. You know, it's like, I know there's people out there that's what they do, it's their speciality and stuff like that. But social media is, I stay away from TikTok and all of that. You know, the most I use is Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and LinkedIn. And that probably shows my age there, wanting to use LinkedIn.
Are you still the moderator of Rollerblading?
Yep, still one of the admins.
So who are the admins, and like how did that all start?
Well, Kazu Mori started the page originally, and then it sort of went down a way that I think Kazu, let's just say Kazu Mori ended up leaving the page, and Larry took it over, and then it's just grown to what it is now.
Larry being
Larry Fagan,
Lurch,
old Lurch, yeah, old Nugan Lurch, man, and Alley-oop Soul Lurch. So yeah, we talk a lot actually. So it's even outside of the page, we're always talking. Am I freezing?
We had so he had some nice comments to say about you in the on your episode.
No, he's a good dude to spend a lot of time, like in the last since even just after the accident. So I've been in contact with him and old Mr. Bew Coddington. So talk to them still quite a bit, especially Larry, probably at least once every couple of weeks or once every few days in the chat. But outside of the chat, we normally talk to each other a bit as well, because we both have a love of toys. So we share the love of Transformers and stuff together. So that's sort of another reason. And he's an amazing customizer when it comes to making toys. So a few other things in common outside of rollerblading. So helps, especially when you're getting older. You know, you've got to try and diversify a little bit.
Do you guys know, you're probably a bit more in touch with it, Liam, but are the young kids starting now? Or is it just the old hacks getting back into it when they're like, you know?
I'd say probably most of
crisis?
it's old dudes, but I have actually seen a couple of roller skater girls that are transitioning or skating more on rollerblades, which I think is really, really cool. Like I saw Rose Crooks the other night skating at the at Aaron's skate park on some mesmers, and I've never seen mesmers in real life, and she was actually doing pretty bloody well for like
she's
obviously two very, very different sports, but that was very cool to see. So I've seen another girl doing the same.
There's a couple of young boys down out Papakura that started, him and his dad, who we met at the OG meet, and I think there's a couple down in Wellington as well.
And there's Luke, the Adventures of Luke on Instagram. He's a lot younger. He's is he 17, 18 now? He came to the first OG meet we had at Valonia.
Luke, from up Luke.
But he was at Aaron's the other night, and he was skating pretty good. It's very patchy, Joss, but it's actually been really weird the last couple of years. Like even being up at Mangawhai with the family, being at the skate park with Ronan, and all of a sudden you see 4 or 5 rollerblader kids that you've never seen in your life show up.
No way, and probably from Auckland, right?
Well, yeah, it's just so weird sometimes.
Yeah, well, that was kind of why I brought up when we were talking about the gap earlier at the Polytech, I was like, who's going to jump big gaps now? Like, who's going to chuck themselves down big handrails and stuff now that we're all like 30s and 40s just skating skate parks? Like, we talked to Sluggy about it. Like, everyone's hitting the parks. It's convenient and it's easy and it's like always a bit of fun.
Well,
Like,
I think that's the way that because if you remember when we used to skate, we had no skate parks, so we were destroying public property and stuff like that. Skate parks started showing up slowly and stuff. I think they're really trying to steer it away from that being out in the open public, moving it into parks. So I think that's why you see a lot of real street setup type parks that are like the parks that the kids see in the competitions and stuff like that, which gets them off the street and stops them causing trouble like we used to do when we were children, like weaving in and out of traffic, causing car accidents and having buses.
Yeah, but hang on. You just said they're trying to steer it. Like, what do you mean they're trying to steer it? Like, no one's ever steered anything for us before. Like, we decide what we want to do.
Well, even if you look at what the Auckland City Council did with the little kind of makeshift park outside of the library, they created a skate park effectively in the inner city for exactly that. Yeah. And that's for skateboarding, obviously, not for rollerblading. There's a lot of videos about why they created that architecture and why they did it to drive people away from skating other things. But definitely nothing that's ever been purpose built for rollerblading. But
yeah, I'm not talking about rollerblading in general. I'm just talking about the whole that was more of a talk, more about the whole skating in general, the whole skate park scenario and moving everything away. But for inlining's inline to easiest way to explain inlining in the way I see it at the moment in regards to the tricks and all of the videos that I'm seeing compared to what with the bangers that we're all missing is early skateboarding, probably late 80s, early 90s skateboarding, when they were getting into the kick flips and it wasn't quite there yet, and it was before they burst back, and it's sort of like we're coming through this same type of cycle period. So I'm seeing a lot of things like in the revival of what skateboarding did before they became big in the mid 90s again with us and the X Games and stuff like that, because they had a huge lull. You know, that was like mid 80s through to the early 90s. You know, they had almost a decade lull, and I see that same thing for us. But we died. We fucking literally died because we didn't just have skateboarding. Just has one aspect. Not one aspect to it, but there is the sports side, there is the cruising around, but rollerblading had so many different facets. So you had your recreational, you had your urban skaters, you had your street skaters, you had your vert skaters, and then when it all imploded, it all just disappeared. And then you only had a core group of people who still stuck around and skated while everybody disappeared and did their own stuff. And then everyone's doing the revival thing again, and that's what I feel seems to be happening. And that's what I've seen just through the pages as well.
Yeah. I guess what I'm getting at is like I still feel like there can be lots of skate parks and there can be like a revival, but I still think that there's a conscious lack of people wanting to get gnarly. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, it seems I don't watch a lot of videos, I don't watch a lot of social media, but so maybe I'm not actually qualified to comment on it, but I don't see people doing like crazy stuff as much. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, you see most of the craziest stuff now being done in parks. Nobody does it on the street. Yeah, you know, nobody's out there. You know, people are still doing big rails and stuff like that. But you know, there's no big gaps. Yeah, still like
Chris Farmer's latest part that came out this morning.
But I'm not talking about America. I'm talking about New Zealand.
Well, Isaac's last video was probably the best. How do I put it without sounding like pissing people off? But it was the best skating I've seen out of the country for a while in terms of pure street skating.
Oh, hands down. I haven't seen the video. I haven't, but I can.
Where have you been, Hamish? It came out in November,
mate. But Isaac,
can we put Isaac over there for a minute? Because we know that he has always pushed that and he's always tried to do that. Like he always is going to. But people coming up or people getting back into it, are they going to go there? Like, are people pushing that envelope,
Well,
corny sounding.
there was a nice little video not too long ago of Brian showing up at a mini ramp jam and just tearing the shit out of it. And it looks like he might be coming back to skating. So that might help push the boundaries a little bit on the street, because he was an amazing skater.
Oh, Brian Aragon in the Ricardo Lino video. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I do wonder though, Josh, whether like people used to film bangers for a section.
Yeah.
So they used to go out with a specific intent to film tricks. Well, actually, we never did though. We just actually used to go out in session without a camera. But I think now it's more about what content you're producing for social media.
That's why I keep bringing up the social media thing. But because like I remember going skating, we'd just pick, like if we felt like skating a handrail, we'd go there.
We'd go skate bush rail. And
no one would be like, hardly ever would be filming, and we'd just be like, what can we chuck down this? Like, what is hard and what is scary? What's someone else not going to be able to do? What can I do?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Sorry,
I kind
guys.
of feel like when you watch videos of people skating parks, that sort of, that maybe, is that drive gone?
Oh, I want to see people doing fucking bangers. There's nothing like hammers, bangers. You know that it's what makes it look interesting.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I do agree, but I also think how style has been refined to such a point now is actually super interesting to watch.
Yeah, but then you get some skaters who do some amazingly big shit
And with style.
and have no fucking style whatsoever.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? And there's a couple I can name, but I'm not going to. But then you've got the likes of other skaters who, like CJ Wellsmore, he's still throwing bangers. You know, if he, some of the stuff that he's thrown out of late, is pretty good. What's the English guy who always rides the Solomons?
Joe Atkinson.
Mate, that like some of the stuff he did a couple of years ago, like
the fuck does a natural double loop like a big circular feature in the middle of nowhere, and he'll go and ride it twice upside down.
Well, you seen the one in the brick wall?
Yeah, like at the backflip. Yeah.
And it's got all of the U's rolling in the back. It's like he does some amazing artwork, but the stuff that he's doing are decent hammers for what you would class as hammers nowadays. But no, we need to go. They need, in order for it to be back to to actually start gaining some attention, is to go back to when the skateboarders used to look at us and be, oh my fucking god, did you just see that? Yeah, and have the rest of the sports look at us and go, okay, sweet, they're starting to get back to where they were, because there was a time in our part, and that's why Darko Darby, he's got some amazing skills when it comes to some of the tricks that he does. And that's the type of skating we need to see, but we need to see it in the style of Roman Airbrake.
If he could actually grab a spin, I wouldn't mind watching him. But his last run at the Fees was amazing.
Yeah.
But did you see that Jay? I know we're veering way off topic, Josh. But did you see Jay Yoon? Like Jay Yoon is a young kid from Korea, I think.
Yeah.
And he came. I think he came third in that Fees in Montpellier, but his style was neck level. Like everything was grabbed from start to finish. He did a fakie 1080 bio, and he grabbed the whole way through, never let go of his skates, didn't do a knee grab, didn't faux grab his skates, and that shit was impressive.
Yep. Yeah.
Style was actually
it's key.
Yeah, and
it's so key. It doesn't count if it looks sloppy or ugly.
And I'm probably the last to talk, because actually growing up I had the shittiest style. And it wasn't until I started to get a bit older that I started to think more about my style and where my arms were going. And, I stopped doing my crane arm Nugans, which was my signature for a time. And, I started to think about, and actually I think when you do get older, and this is a comment about not doing bangers, but you start to become more aware of your body and how it feels and how it looks and where your limbs go. And skating actually starts to feel a little bit easier when you become a bit older. When I started to get back into it after I had my elbow constructed, I certainly felt like I was skating better than I had for a good 12 years prior.
Age does help with the mentality of skating, and that's why most people won't really peak until they're in their 30s. You know what I mean? And that's with most sports people. You'll hit peak athletic part of the about 30, and then you'll start going downhill.
So are we saying there's still hope for Bentley then?
I never
When was
say
the last time-
never. I mean,
Yeah.
he did say to me once, maybe I should save this for his interview, which you are going to do, Scott, by the way.
Yeah, you're doing both.
yeah.
He said to me, he was obviously he was a few deep. He said, I still know how to do every trick. I can see it in my brain. I know what I have to do, so I can do it.
Yeah.
Of course I can still go do an invert.
I feel I remember that conversation. So.
I'm sure he may not remember.
I have every single trick in my head. Every single trick. I can close my eyes. I can feel how I do it. When I go to do it, my legs just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you like what your limitations are now.
Look, my limitations are pretty much skating a bowl. Like, look, I could I need like at the moment because of COVID and everything, my body's actually I've let myself technically go. I haven't put on a lot of weight, but probably the heaviest I've been in the probably last 20 years. And my legs are pretty weak, so I need to do some work, and that's hence the reason going. But I think I'll be all right once I get my leg strength back. I was actually doing quite well, wasn't I, for a little bit until I knocked myself out.
Yeah, some of the bowl skating we were doing together at one time, like I got quite a few good clips of you.
And that was before that's before I did that soul grind at Waterview. I was coming up the ledge and I went to do a soul grind at Waterview, and I did the old miss the ledge and roll the foot, and that spun me around, and I just caught my chin. And ever since then, I've been really, 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 really cautious. It wasn't a fall to the bum or anything like that, because I can normally kick myself out and slide out. But that just has rattled me, mate, to my core, because I knew exactly what happened with Niam. And that's also need to get myself a helmet.
Yeah,
might get myself a big chin strap too.
Should we do the questions now?
Yeah. Cool. So so these are questions from guests, like from people on Instagram. So don't judge us at all, Hamish. So one from the infamous Tatty Club, aka Rob Ting, aka Bootleg Blading. He wants to see some skin and see the Solomon Tramp stamp again.
Oh, it's fucking butchered, bro. It is literally butchered now.
That's fine. It still just needs some airtime.
Fucking airtime, man.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, it doesn't line up anymore.
No, mate. No. So I've had 2 surgeries on my back. So the first time he cut it, and then I was like, "Fuck, can you line it up, please?" And he's like, "Oh, next time when I take the metal out, I'll line it up for you, mate." Tricks, bro. Fuck, ruined my tattoo.
Jeez.
So yeah, there you go, Mr. Ting. Bit
Cool.
of airtime. But my favourite's the old
the Cosmo one.
Yeah, but it's got Ra. Do you remember the old Ra stickers that I made? The Rolling Alcoholics Anonymous stickers that said what's up with the saggy track pants?
Good stuff.
Our next one's actually from Touch White, old Callum, who lives with Jago. So Callum asks, does being ginger give you an advantage with the ladies?
No, because I've got no soul apparently. Apparently us gingers have no soul.
Hey, but my daughter's ginger.
I know.
Jago asks, tell us what happened with Chad Grout the X Games again, but we've covered that on the first one.
Okay, yeah.
So sounds like that story's been told a few times I posted on Jago. Yeah. Now this one's quite a funny one from Rory. So Rory asked, did you know that Kevin and Cameron, RIP to Cameron, stole some porn gloves and t-shirts at
Nah,
Grove?
Nah, not at all. And at the end of the day, fuck. Yeah. Can I plead the fifth?
Did you know about the reputation of the Napier skaters before they came to stay at your house?
Night, Sonia. No. No, I knew of them, but look, at the end of the day, normally if you open your door to somebody to come and stay when they're in a hard place, you shouldn't shit where you sleep. So, that's on them, and that's something that they can deal with for the rest of their life. And I appreciate Kev admitting to it and actually apologizing. It doesn't matter whether it's when it happened or what, but it's just, it's the maketh of the man who's somebody who's actually able to apologize and say, hey, I did something to you, rah, rah, rah. And hey, look, at the end of the day, bygones are bygones. Me and Kev actually had a pretty good relationship when he was living up in Auckland, and actually did a bit of skating together and hung out and did some coffee drinking. So it was good.
Oh, good answer. Next one's from Black Spider Project. He's actually we've been conversing a little bit, and he's just keen to know what people do for a job.
What I do for a job now?
Just what people do from a rollerblade perspective that we're interviewing.
I manage a vape store, so I still work in retail. I've been working in the vape industry now for about 5-6 years. Been managing stores, helping people open stores. Just pretty much managing stores. That's pretty much what I do. Working in the vape game, trying to help people get off the cigarettes. So it's good little, kick.
This is not a question from anyone, but you suddenly triggered a memory, and I wanted to ask you this. Back when you were a fuel transfer technician, apparently you used to work at the service station by Abbott's Way, and you got fired because you were smoking close to the pumps.
No, I was smoking in the toilets.
Oh, not by the pumps.
Nah, because so what used to, so it wasn't the one near Abbott's Way, it was in Ellerslie. And what happened was when I started working there, you were allowed to smoke on site. You actually were allowed to smoke out in the smoko room.
Yeah.
And in the storeroom, Sharon, who used to work with us, used to smoke fucking 2 packets of cigarettes a day on a shift, mate. You know what I mean? There was always a cigarette and a light out the back. And then they made BP started buying all the sites back, and they started corporate bringing back into corporate. And then what they did is they banned fucking smoking across all the sites, which is a really fucking shit thing to do, because I really enjoyed smoking back then. So the only place we could smoke was in the toilet. So and you weren't, this is in 97, and you're supposed to have your breaks and stuff, but they wouldn't give you your break. You worked at a gas station, you weren't allowed to have your 10 minutes, but you weren't allowed to have your 15-minute, your half an hour, and the other 15-minute, you just worked your 8 hours, and that was it. So
pump that gas.
Yeah, pump it real good. And then so what we'd do is we'd just pretend to go, like, I'd take 3 shits a day.
Oh, Liam.
And just go have a cigarette.
But I do that just because of my digestive system, not because I'm going for a sickie.
Bro, I know. I used to know a guy in Christchurch.
Used to be 5 times more when I had double brown, though, too.
Well, here's one for you, Liam. I know someone that I used to work with, used to flat with too, and no names here. He used to drive back home to Ashburton from Christchurch to take a shit every day.
That's like a 45, 50-minute drive.
Yeah.
That's a long way.
Selective pooing.
Yeah. He couldn't poo at work. He just couldn't do it. Poor bastard.
Yeah.
He wasn't a rollerblader, okay? So that's all right.
Yeah. These are a couple of quick questions from Scott.
Yep.
Wait on, just a disclaimer. Now that Scott's formally involved in the show, he has to do an interview.
Okay, yep.
Okay?
Yep. Two thumbs up from this guy.
If you're listening and you're watching and you want to hear from him, or even just see him on screen, then you should leave a comment, because I think the more we push him into it and box him into a corner, the more likely we'll get a result. So, sorry, go ahead, Liam.
He did actually say to me tonight that he's going to try to listen to a few episodes tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
how big of him?
Yeah, that's so awesome. Sorry, just laughing about Scott now. So
I'm just, hey, hold on, before you go, carry on. I'm looking forward to the time when Scott sees me call him. Because he hasn't seen, has he seen my episode yet? Because if he hasn't, I can't wait to see him next time when he hears me call him an arsehole.
I think there's been a Scott story though from every episode so far.
Yeah, there always is, mate. He's a big part. He's literally like, the grandfather of rollerblading in New Zealand. Really.
And,
Or the father.
and he's become a GC.
Yeah, he really is, mate. He is.
So this is Scott's question. So again, couple. How did you feel when Shiloh clipped your hair at X-Air while you're asleep?
Mate, that was really hard for me because I worked front of house for a Japanese restaurant in Christchurch, and I actually had to cook for people. And I
do you want to
literally
explain what happened and how you woke up?
I just woke up with
I
him clipping my head. I got
wake
drunk, as per usual. Got drunk, but Shiloh was just being cheeky. I think Shiloh was bitter that I stole $500 off him in a downhill competition on the Rollerblade Coyotes. I beat him by like a couple of split seconds. So
the best thing for me was there was quite a long period between it happening and then you finding out.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, I was asleep for a while.
You were looking at the mirror though, figuring out what's going on, and we're all behind you laughing.
Yeah, I was hungover. What do you expect, man? I used to drink a lot back then,
Yeah.
But hey, look, at the end of the day, Shiloh might have shaved my head off, but at the end of the day, I walked away with $500.
Okay. Why don't you explain what he actually did?
I think I was asleep.
Yeah.
I know, just shaved just like a patch from my head. That's all it was, just a patch.
Wasn't it in the back so you couldn't see it?
No, it was on it was on the front. It was like nah. And I had to if it was on my back, my chef hat would have covered it, right? I wouldn't have had to go back to work and have a full haircut before I started my work. Because I enjoyed my hair back then. Not like now, solar panel.
I feel you.
Yeah. It's all the hat wearing, man.
That's why I wear a hat. So there's a couple of parts to this question. So Scott asked, where the fuck do you get your energy from?
Apparently I might have fallen in the vat of fucking speed while I was a child. I keep being told. But no, I've just got energy, not now, but I just used to have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Used to like to talk, used to like to just fucking bounce around and do everything. I think that's why skating was a good outlet. I just had, and it wasn't that like I was ADHD or anything like that. I just had a lot of energy, a lot, and had to expel it somehow.
So Scott thinks it's a ginger thing. He believes it might be a form of gingification.
Yeah.
And he talked about the fact that you don't have DNA, you got GNA.
Yeah, well, I told you, mate, we don't have souls, bro. Okay.
That's my last ginger bashing thing, and actually, it's not even me, Scott.
Oh no, Scott would, give me as much grief as possible.
His time will come. His time will come.
Oh, it will, mate. It will. Oh, I will. It'll be like, hey, when you do interview him, Joss, when you're talking to him, can you do the old, just tell me, bro. What's going?
What else we got?
That was the last couple of questions.
Okay.
Cool. Scott was kind of the ender.
Oh, nice, Scotty.
Right. Well, yeah, this was good. I'm glad we did this one because this was a good one. But yeah, just thanks, Hamish, for everything, from day one to even up to now, pretty massive contribution to New Zealand skating and overseas, and all your energy that you talk about, and your enthusiasm and controversy and your abrasiveness and your obnoxiousness, and it's all part of it. And I think we talked about it in episode, I think when we were talking to Ben, we were talking about how almost everyone in the New Zealand scene is kind of their own unique personality, and it all fits together really well. If you took someone out of it, you'd really notice they weren't there. So, and that applies to you in quite a big way, I think. So,
No, thank you, guys.
It's been awesome, bro.
no, very, very humbling experience, and I've had some really good feedback from people. Like I actually like tagged Chad. Speaking of Chad Grout, tagged him, and he was just like, great watch, brought back, just the memories coming back from those periods of time, and from everybody that's actually said, all the comments that I've been reading as well was everything's been positive, and seeing things like, especially Danny, old Mr. Meadows, I forgot that, he was around back then down in Wellington, and just hearing what he said about me doing my first forward flip in Wellington. It's been a really good, humbling experience, guys, and I really appreciate it, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I thank everyone in New Zealand rollerblading scene. Thank you from the bottom of my heart as well for just doing what you guys do, and let's just keep moving forward. Oh, and one other thing, old Mr. Aaron Martin, carry on doing what you're doing, mate. You're doing a really good job up here with Sunskate, and East City, East Skate Club. Like carry on, mate. That's a really good way forward, and it's good to start getting the new fold through.
To help your competitive nature as well, Hamish, like you're the quickest to get to 200.
Oh, really?
So you got to 200 views in a day.
Shit.
So you're winning. You're not winning in terms of overall views, but you're winning in terms of speed to get to 200.
Look, I'm just glad everyone's enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Everyone's had really good memories come back from it, and that's really what it was about for me as well, was being able to sit here and share that with everybody, and let everybody know that hard work and being a fucking tin ass can get you somewhere in life. So just carry on doing it. You know what I mean?
Just need that wild card, eh? Just need the wild card.
Just
got to wild card it out, mate. Just make sure I've got a saying, and it's not a really good saying, but throw shit against the wall and see if it sticks.
Well, in terms of throwing shit, Bentley still said you're the best mini ramp skater he's ever seen.
Yeah. So, thank you, Bentley. I just wish I could still skate that way. But hey, you never know. Maybe might be able to do a Elliot Marchio one day.
Okay, bro.
Boys, thank you very much.
Cheers, guys, for a Friday night.
No, definitely, boys. You guys take care. And me and Union will sit down and have a chat and see if we can figure out trying to get everyone together again up here somehow, or maybe down Ham's ways or something. All right.
All right.
Thank you, boys.
Okay, guys.
Take care. Right. Enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. See you, bro. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Parents are very strict. Where you going with those skates? Wear your helmet. Are you doing that too? Are you jumping on those banisters?